Hey traders from around the world, what's going on? It's your boy Jeremy Alexander Newsom with Real Life Trading Dad Cam. Trust you are doing wonderfully delicious. We got ourselves the SPY on the boards right now, and this is a interesting gap today. First and foremost, I was looking at going bullish yesterday. As you can see, I actually had a weekly options newsletter set up on the SPY, wanting to get in bullish above the high of that white candle. Obviously, that did not happen. So the interesting thing is, for my gap traders and my traders who are newer to real life trading, you'll notice that this is a really solid gap because yesterday's candle actually gapped up, right? So it was a gap. So you know there's some bullish traders going in from Monday to Tuesday morning. So a nice little gap. And this candle opened lower than the low of yesterday. So the low of yesterday was 282.48. Open of today, 282.38, which means every single person who bought SPY and still owned it was immediately trapped this morning at open. So this is obviously a bearish gap and go, one of my favorites, and it caused the room to just absolutely dominate it. Today was one of the most profitable days we've had at real life trading, at least for day traders, in a while. Look at Brad just going bananas in the day trading room, trading Micron and WUBA for 1.8 hours, 1.8 hours, almost 4 hours, within like 30 minutes of market open. It was really killer. So here's the SPY, and the cool part about it is, I mean, the first 10 minutes were all the information you needed to just wreck the SPY bearish. Here is the pre-market low. So you got the pre-market low right there, that's support. Second white candle is, bullish, obviously. Third candle, definitely not bullish. And then there's the break right there. That's where you're getting in. I mean, you're shorting that low of the day break with a bearish gap and go. Killer. And here's your exponential moving averages on the daily chart, which you'll notice is it also opened below that 20. Well, it kind of broke that 20. So there was nothing really stopping it between the 20 and the 50. So the SPY was a really nice move. And the Qs also really good gap on the Qs, right? White candle gapping down. This pink line was just a wager that me and one of my buddies in Denver had when the Qs was going to make a new all-time high. He said it was going to happen before August 16th, and I said it was going to happen after. So I'm going to win that bet, but just a small bet, just between friends. So anyway, that's the Qs, a little bit of a gap down. I say a little bit of a gap down. Again, a really nice opportunity to go bearish. Here's your first 5 minutes. And again, you get that nice 5-minute white candle. The first 5 minutes was like, if I turn the moving average off, just this small little itsy-bitsy high wave candle. Really good breakdown and a gorgeous retest right here. Tons of gaps to play today. I mean, just really, really amazing. The stocks that I had requested, Twitter was on the list, TWTR. And Twitter's interesting because Twitter is down into some longer term support levels. So here is the 200. 200's at 31.07. My girl Cheryl was looking at doing an August 31st put sale down here. This is the weekly chart, and the weekly chart, you're right around that 50 EMA. So there's the 50 EMAs at 30.84. And the other ironic part, semi-ironic I guess, is that Twitter did have and is having a really nice, comfortable rotation and retracement. Just depending on where you start this pullback from, if you draw it all the way back to the beginning, this really strong bullish move is having about a 50% retracement. And do this candle's about a 50% retracement. So this would be the area that if Twitter is going to bounce and consolidate and accumulate, this is where it would. And if you're looking at this hourly chart, this is the hourly chart down here. You can see we're in a little bit of an increasing channel. So we are kind of making some higher lows. I'll kind of draw that really quick. So something like this. So here's a little bit of the higher lows, and then here's the relative highs. So at some point, we'll see if that breaks down or breaks higher. But if you are looking at playing Twitter longer term, bullish, I can understand. I'm not personally doing that, but it makes sense why you would. Here's another one that was requested, SUPN. SUPN, this is a pharmaceutical company. Let's go look at the daily chart. So SUPN had a pretty solid breakdown on what looks to be like a weird, maybe head and shoulders kind of pattern. So we had a very, very strong bullish candle right there. Boom, there's the head, bam, tons of selling. There's a potential shoulder, and obviously this was a candle that said, nah, fam, we're gonna go a little bit lower. Strong, strong bearish candle, tons of volume coming in. And here's the long-term moving averages on the daily. So most pharmaceuticals are a little bit more volatile anyway, But the weekly, I'd really prefer to get it down there to 38.25. I don't know if that'll happen or not, but if you're looking at playing it bullish, I can do a really killer wave count on this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. So the question is just how low is C going to go? And I think 38.25 makes sense. So if you're looking at playing it, that's where I would personally buy the dip. Here's ticker symbol TRU, TrueCar. TrueCar just really sideways. This is the weekly chart, literally smack dab in the middle between the 100 and 200 on the weekly. And we just got above the long terms on the daily. Now this is a good gap right here, so a really good candle. Volume's coming in. We are retesting. So here's that resistance price over here. So huge candle. This was actually a retest gap right there. Gap action. White candle, gapping up, retesting a little bit. So the hardest challenge on TrueCar would just be when to get in bullish. I mean, that's usually the biggest challenge. But since you have those long-term moving averages in the way, and obviously you can see that it does respect those pretty nicely, right? Nice little pause there, nice pause there, nice pause there, nice pause there. I'd say give it a little bit more time, probably go bullish to non-directional, just let it chop around for a little bit, and yeah, I mean, let it trade sideways, but if you are going bullish, I think that makes the most sense. Just kind of like tiptoeing in, maybe buy a little bit, buy a partial, let it trade higher, buy another partial, let it trade higher, and once you can break above that 100 on a weekly, she should be good to go. Tons of requests, obviously, for BABA, BABA, down pretty nicely today, and this one had also had a lot of warning signals recently. So there's a, you know, we talked about this one just a few days ago, but here's the support. Right, very, very strong support. And the last time we talked about NFLX was on that really big bullish candle and said, all right, guys, this should be it. This should be the bottom. If we take out and we close below that low, we are going lower. And it closed below that low yesterday. That was the time to buy some puts. Today was the time to sell some puts, either to open or sell the long puts to close. I know it sounds crazy, but this is the price right now where obviously BABA needs to hold. Earnings is right around the corner, but it's now at the buy low, sell high place. So if you've been looking at keeping an eye on BABA, start watching it now. Obviously, it's not going to get up to 260 this year. I thought it was going to, but it won't. What I think BABA very well could do is I think it's going to gap down on earnings. Now, I'm not saying this for sure, obviously, but I think it's either going to gap down or trade down a little bit lower just to make sure everyone who has a stop in around 161 gets stopped out. So if it gaps up on earnings, it probably does this, rotates lower one more time, make sure everyone's in a world of hurt. That's when IQ and everything goes lower, and then it starts recovering. And that would be probably off the 50 EMA, I'm sorry, the 100 SMA on the weekly chart. Obviously, I don't know that to be a fact, but I think tons of people have their stops right there, and Bob is just looking to punish some people who, who aren't patient enough on this one. Long term, obviously, don't know how long term, but long term this company will go higher, just a matter of time. Let it trade sideways, let it accumulate. This is obviously a distribution phase, so it is a buy low, sell high. So if you're not in BABA, you can pick up some where we are, but probably better once it gets into that stop, just a little bit lower for those who are looking at picking up some shares, some leaps, or something longer term. Obviously not a bad place where it is now, because of course it could just start rocket shipping. So you're welcome to kind of tiptoe and just kind of put some feelers out there to figure out what BABA does, but certainly not the day to buy puts today, right? You had that black candle gapping down. This was the fade. This was the time to go long on BABA because it had already made its major move higher. Or sorry, it already made its major move lower. So this was, yeah. So from here, start looking to go bullish until earnings, and we'll find out what happens on earnings. If you're going bullish, again, super short term, or very long term, and you can do it with partials, right? Maybe buy 10 shares, let earnings come out, find out what happens from there. That's just my idea. That's just my hypothesis, but I think it makes a lot of sense. Anyway, awesome. On to the next stock. GBT, my buddy Peter, who loves sending me charts. Peter was throwing Global Blood Therapeutics my way. And this one does look interesting. If you go to a weekly chart, you got relatively sideways, but it has been making higher highs and higher lows. This is the higher high back over here. You're above the 100 on a weekly chart. Here's the daily, and you're getting above the daily long-term moving averages. And Peter was kind of looking at it as a cup and handle. So strong bullish move, right? Most giant bullish candles like that have that retracement. There's the handle, and here's the pop higher. It makes sense, Peter. I get it. I do. It's a little bit more sideways than I would personally like. So maybe do a put sale on some shares, do a covered call, something to that extent. But realistically, yeah, I mean, today's a really good candle. So if you're looking at going bullish, if it makes a higher high and higher low, I dig it. A lot of requests for China stocks today. Obviously, China stocks just getting absolutely wrecked today. IQ, we've been in puts for a little bit on IQ. This is one of those things where even if you're in the afternoon room, even if it's just for a few days a week, you know, investing in that $139 to just get a general idea and pulse on a particular stock. We spent about 20 minutes in the afternoon room back over here, 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 and here, analyzing what IQ was about to do. And most specifically on earnings, this candle right there, the purple arrow, I mentioned if it made a lower low from there, the shoe was going to go lower. And we've been watching this one very closely over the last few weeks. I found a chart that patterns this move almost exactly. And we knew once it closed below the 50, most specifically on the 2nd of August, that it was pretty much done for. So this was a trade that we actually did really well on, and we're still doing well on it, but a lot of traders, that IQ has been a phenomenal hedge in this drop. So this was the exact analysis and that exact posting, and then I'll kind of give you my ideas what I think it's going to do from here. But this was the original kind of setup for anyone who hadn't already got in. It was just kind of some puts, $30 puts for September, and that was because you couldn't really short the stock, and that was kind of unfortunate because if you could have shorted the stock, it would have hit 2 Rs today. But my thoughts on it is pretty much what this red line looks like. I do like the volume. It did break all kinds of supports, and I think that if IQ retests, I think it's going to go a little bit lower. This could be the absolute bottom, but I'm thinking we do something like this and then roll over. I can't, maybe even best case scenario. Certainly not worst case scenario, but obviously if it takes out the low of today's candle, and specifically this low, we're going to go to 20. If you're in bullish on IQ, just protect yourself. I think it could trade down to the $20 range at some point and even lower than its IPO low. It's kind of my thought. Eventually, November, December. It's certainly possible. And then we'll start making some really good moves on IQ, kind of longer term. But, I mean, we all made, well, at least some of us, not all of us, we all made some good money through May and June. Beautiful run up. I mean, phenomenal, just cashing in like crazy. What goes up must come down. So this is that really nice corrective cycle. And, yeah, if you're looking at playing bullish on IQ, just wait, at least for now, at least to take out this lower high trend line right there. That's what you're going to be waiting for on IQ. Macy's today just getting wrecked. Macy's was one of the bearish gaps of the day. So pretty. Had a coaching session with a buddy of mine from California this morning. We're looking at puts, talking about how they're going to work out and how they're going to play on Macy's. And those puts, John, worked out real well on Macy's. So we were looking at the puts expiring this Friday. We were talking about the, which one's at $36.50 for $1.05. They're at $4 right now. So just killer gap. Let's talk about why this was such a strong gap. And yesterday's candle, first of all, was a bullish candle, right? It was a bullish gap and go. It's a new 52-week high, breaking out of resistance, just everyone going bullish, right? Everyone's all excited about it. Tons of people, tons of breakouts, tons of breakout scanners getting filled. Just a lot of people going long yesterday. And then today you had a small gap down, relatively speaking, right? It was down like 7% or so. So it had a small gap down right in the sweet spot, below the low of this wick, below the low of these bullish candles, below the moving averages, open below the 20. So there was nothing stopping below the 20 and the 50. And if you look at this 1 minute chart, I mean, you're welcome to print this chart out because this is the epitome of a strong bullish move. I mean, check this out. Oh, man. As much money as you want to make on Macy's today. And again, I felt real good that John and I were talking about this. This is perfection, ladies and gentlemen, in a bottle. This is, if Christina Aguilera was going to sing Stock Market in a Bottle, 5 R's in a Bottle, this would be her song. Pre-market low. Huge bullish candle at the pre-market low, immediately gets taken out, retested, huge bullish volume coming in on that hammer, and then they just get trapped. I mean, oh gosh, so good on Macy's. What an amazing gap. For those practicing gap and goes and day trading in general, print out Macy's, take that chart, put it beside your bedside table, and dream about that gap, because that's how you can make your fortunes in day trading. And Netflix, I've been warning some traders in the afternoon swing trading room for a while on Netflix. You can see this little green line, or sorry, this blue line was for some protective puts, because I do have some traders who are in put sales, longer term calls, shares, and I was like, guys, if we start taking out the low, because remember, we closed below the low of this candle. That is definitely a warning sign. I'm going to go ahead and seriously, guys, big red flag on Netflix, huge red flag. Lower, high, lower, high, lower, high. We are today, in the next 8 minutes, looks like we're going to close below the low of this pivot. Here's the weekly chart, and the weekly chart is a bearish gap and go on a weekly, right? And even on a monthly chart, you have a one black crow. I've been telling everyone about warning signs on Netflix ever since earnings gap down. I mentioned if it was going to gap down on earnings, it would likely fade, rotate over, and accumulate, getting closer and closer to 300. So this is a retest gap today on Netflix right now. Volume is coming in. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not saying Netflix is going to go to zero by any means. It's not, imperative that it's already gone down 100 points in the last month. So keep that in mind. But if it starts retesting and showing any weakness, if you're looking at going long on Netflix, that's fine. Just wait a little bit longer and go as far away as you can. Buy as low as you can, do put sales as far away as you can. Right now, Netflix, for me, bearish. I'm only going to be playing bearish moves on Netflix until we get down to the low 3s, high 2s, and I'm playing it accordingly. I mean, there's a lot of warning signs here. You got this evening star reversal pattern. This white candle came in, and I mentioned to all the traders in the afternoon swing trading room, so guys, if we take out that white candle, huge warning sign, and then you actually took out the white candle with a gap. Once that happened, that's when I put up this put trigger and said, hey guys, if it breaks below 343.58, you're going to want some protective puts. You really are going to want some. And that was really based off the low of this bullish candle, because we already broke it once. And I said, hey, if we broke it once, we can break it again. The next day, black candle, gapping down, retest candle. It retested, broke down. Another bearish candle today, another bearish candle today with volume. I'm calling it, guys. I think Netflix, play it bearish or just wait. It is my particular opinion on this one. Yep, that is it. But again, I mean, I love Netflix long term. I love the company. It's just, there's no way this was sustainable. And I was talking about that trend, and there's no trend does this forever. Just can't happen. Right above 400. Yep. It's going to be pulling back some more, folks, on Netflix. Anyway, so let's have fun. Let's buy something that rhymes with a lot of put options and go make some money. Folks from around the world, you're awesome. I will catch you on the flip side, and that will be Friday. So until then, love life, live life, trade it, bye.